Hi, welcome. We're streaming live tonight from Zoom onto Facebook. So I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome to the very first night number one of three. We typically don't go live this late in the evening, but I just know from past experience with doing live masterclasses, we've been creating video content for years now, and I just know that more people are available in the evening. And this 3 days together is going to be so powerful. I wanted the most eyeballs on it possible. I wanted the most people available to watch it live and interact as possible. So we changed the time and we're going to be live here tonight, tomorrow night, and Friday night at 8 p.m. So right here, you'll be able to catch the replays if you're not available for the actual live call. You can catch the replays. We'll leave them up inside the guide section. And I wanted to do just a quick welcome because there are a ton of new members inside of this group. We've had more interaction in places like Instagram, etc. And so there's some fresh faces in the space. So first I want to welcome and say you're in an amazing community. This is a space for entrepreneurs, business developers, and millionaires in the making, entrepreneurs on the rise. We are really just pleased to have you. There's an entire guide section that's full of masterclasses that we've put together over the last 2 years. So feel free to come in and binge the content. And for all of our OGs, our original gangsters who are up in here, I want to welcome you. I see Tanya, Suzanne, Erica, Pamela, Cherry, Nadia, my mom, Queen Mom Mary Kay is in the house. Tracy's up in here. So welcome as you're live. I'm also going to pull up, just as we're dropping in, I'm going to pull this up on my phone as well so that I can see comments because they weren't all coming in earlier today on this laptop. So I want to make sure that I can see all of your gorgeous faces, all of the comments as we drop in for this training. So I have 3 pages of notes because this topic feels ripe. This topic felt ready. Each day of this experience, we're going to treat it like a workshop, not just a talking head. So if I can ask you for a favor really quick, can you guys grab a paper and pen, a journal that you love, or if you're someone who journals in your phone, can you have it ready for me, please? Just pull those things together for me. Welcome, Rick. I see Raven. Welcome, Cassie. Welcome, Jen. Welcome, Jordan. Jordan. Welcome, guys. All right, so we're gonna drop in workshop style, and instead of having talking head, I want some interaction and a little mantra, a little guided visualization. If you know anything about me, you know that we're gonna go straight in for this. So first, will you be brave for me? This workshop is called the First Generation Millionaire. For a million reasons, there are people who aren't even connected to the possibility of being a first generation millionaire. I know that there are people watching this live right now and who will catch the replay who feel so not close to millionaire status. I know that there will be people who are watching this who are questioning how to pay for groceries. That's a level. There are people here that are questioning a lot of things right now because of the economy, and this class is inclusive for you. This class was made for people who are questioning how this could ever happen for them, but they have an inkling of a desire that it would. Over the next 3 days, I'm going to put you in contact with that version of yourself and do some mindset shifting, paradigm shifting conversation and prompts for you to get more in touch with that version of you, because it does exist and I want to connect you. So would you be so brave if you can even touch the feeling of it? If you can admit that you would love to be the first generation millionaire in your family, If it's you, raise your hand in the comments. It takes guts to even say it. Because if you say it, there's a chance that you touch that desire, but then you don't get it. So most people would say, I don't really care about money, when the truth is they deeply care about money, but they don't want to experience the disappointment of letting themselves down. So they lie about their feelings. It takes bravery. It takes boldness to raise your hand and say, I actually would prefer to be a first generation millionaire. There are some of you who you won't be a first generation millionaire because perhaps your grandfather or your grandmother or your father or your mother have had this experience of having millions, and perhaps you haven't, and you're feeling some type of way about that. So maybe that term first generation millionaire isn't for you, but claiming that you choose to be a cash millionaire in your lifetime, that would take bravery. So if that's you, you can raise your hand as well. It's not worth me teaching this class. It's not worth me having this workshop if you won't edge into your desire to say, yes, I want that. Because if you want it, then we can expound on that. But if you won't even say that you want it, there's nothing to conversate on. So will you be brave? Raise your hand in the comments and make this statement for me. This is going to be a mantra. And if you're brave enough, write it down. Write it down on a little something that you can stick on your bathroom mirror. Put at your kitchen sink, someplace that you go every day. And write down these words right now. I am a first generation millionaire in the making. And if you're not a first generation and you already have money in your lineage, even better, write down, I am a cash millionaire in the making. Feel the power while you write it. Feel the power with every stroke of the pen. There are people in this room who are already millionaires. So stake your claim. I am a decamillionaire in the making. I am 100 millionaire in the making. I dare you now to write that down as a mantra. I dare you now to write it and stake a claim on a piece of paper that you're going to see every day for the next 30 days. I dare you to be so bold as to write this on a piece of paper that you are going to see every day, on your vanity, on your mirror, at your kitchen sink. If you're super brave, let your family see it. Stake your claim. This is your mantra for the next 30 days. Okay. If you've got it written down, write done, because that opens us up. That opened you up. That took a physical action. It took you writing it. It took you being open with a group of people who are running in the same direction. We now have a hive mind. We have a mastermind of many people running in the same direction, which is freaking beautiful. And then you took it another step and you activated with the body. So now we're getting it in the mind and through the body, in and through the body. Ooh, in and through the body. We're getting the soma involved. We're getting the somatics. We're getting the action. You're writing it down. This is your first activation. You're going to put this paper somewhere that you're going to see it for the next 30 days. For me personally, I always tape it to my vanity or I stick it on my bathroom mirror because those are two places that I see every single day, multiple times a day. You got to wash your hands, you got to pee, you know what I'm saying? So multiple times a day, I would drill these things into my mind on the way to making $1 million years. So that's your first thing, is the mantra. Claim it. Claim your mantra. That's number one. And that was beautiful to witness, you all. Ah, beautiful. Okay. Now let's take it deeper into the body, because I can be a talking head all day long, but let's get it in your body. If you're in a place where you can close your eyes and soften in for a second, I want to take you into a visualization. And because this visualization is recorded from now until however long this recording stays up, you can always come back to this. And I would invite you to do this near every morning. Just drop into these words. Wherever you are, I'm going to have you make a little beautiful circuit in your body. This is a Dr. Kim out here. This is a Dr. Kim special. We're going to do a circuit. Put your hand on your heart. Put one hand just about at your navel, at your root, where all the reproductive happy happens, you know what I'm saying? So a nice little circuit, hand on heart, hand on navel, and keep all of your energy within you. So energy flowing out through your hand, back to your heart. Everything's connected. And if you will, if you're in a safe place for this, warning, if you're driving or operating heavy machinery, just keep your eyes open. But if you're in a place to close your eyes, let's just soften in. Take a beautiful, deep, soft breath. And let your eyes soften down. Feel the rise of your hand on your chest with every in-breath. Feel the softening and the relaxation on the out-breath. Feel a warm golden light in your chest. Feel your heartbeat underneath your hands. And imagine this buzzy, sparkling light expanding from your heart 2 inches out. Watch golden light go out from your heart all the way through your skin. Begin to touch your hand. Watch that golden light travel down that hand that's on your heart. Watch golden, glittery, sparkling light go down your elbow, back up your arm, past your bicep, up your shoulder, and watch it fill your entire chest. Watch this gorgeous life force, this golden light, fill your head all the way up to your scalp, and then loop it down to your opposite shoulder. Watch love and light and power, this sparkling gold energy, just pour down your other arm, past your elbow, through your forearm, and connect with your hand. Watch your hand light up gold and bright and connect to your navel and send golden, sparkling, fresh life-giving energy all the way through your abdomen, down to your root, up into your solar plexus. Watch this gold light up your whole body, your hips, your bottom, your root, your thighs, past knees, all the way down past calves. Watch it drip like honey down to your feet, and see your feet connected to the earth, and ground that light down, down, down into earth, into resourceness, into fertile ground. Watch that golden light, your power, your love, your resourceness. Watch it connect with something way bigger than you. Send your light down into the earth, past rock, past soil, past sand, past water, into the rich, dark soil where minerals and all that God has ever created to nourish abound. And call that abundance back up to you. Watch as resources come from the north, the south, the east, the west, from under you and from above you. And see your golden light as a magnet for wealth, abundance, possibilities, magic, miracles. See yourself today as the ancestor. See your life as impact and magnitude, wellness, a fortress. See your power today. And have you travel your light back up from the earth into your body. And when you do, bring up every mineral, every resource, everything that God has for you. Bring it up into your body and say thank you. And as you feel all of your power and your light coming back up even more nourished and grounded, I'll have you take both hands, palms up, arms open, palms facing the sky, and see that there's light above you. There's so much God has for you. Keep your hands open for it. See light coming down to connect to your palms. See the wisdom, the strength, your angels, your ancestors, God, and everything that's holy that are wanting to support you. They're waiting for open hands. They've got assignments for you, so stay open. And while you're here, I'm going to make a couple of statements. You can relax your hands on your thighs. You can relax hands down. I'm going to make a couple of statements. I'm going to ask you to be as open as you can to these. A micro visualization. Imagine a laptop opens, and on the screen, you see your multi-million-dollar net worth. Imagine you've just made another $1 million deal. What does the feeling in your body feel like now that all your bills are paid? Imagine when you fall asleep at night, there's 20 stacks of $100 bills in your safe. See the $100 bills? Imagine one in your hand. Pick the bill up in your hand and visualize bringing it up to your face. Feel the texture of the bill and smell the $100 bill. What does it smell like? Feel the texture, see the design, and lay the $100 bill down. And imagine picking up the next one in the stack. See it, pick the $100 bill up, smell it, and lay it on top of the next bill. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. And now see 20 of those stacks. 20 stacks of $100 bills just sitting in your safe for a happy day. Imagine the feeling in your body. What does it feel like to know that you have hard assets? You own your home. You own your cars, cash. What does it feel like in your body now that you have helped others? What do you feel like now that you have paid off the bills of someone that you love? What does it feel like now that money is bigger than money? It's your legacy impact. Imagine you're free to do random acts of kindness. You're happy, healthy, and wealthy. This was always waiting for you. This version of you has always existed. Now, my friend, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to open up a moment for you to journal it. Since this is now true, which aligned actions got you here? And open your eyes. On your sheet of paper in front of you, as you come back to reality really slowly, and just ground into this space. While you're in this state, on your paper, at the top of the sheet, write down, I am a first-generation millionaire. And here's how it happened. And write the first two things that drop into your spirit. Go. I'm going to give you about 60 more seconds here. Don't overcomplicate, just drop in with whatever came into your spirit, whatever came into your mind. My God, this is fun. My God, this is fun. Okay, so we opened you up into this state first. We brought you into a state of somatic practice first and a state of visualization first, because I wanted you to touch that version of you. And just by the way, I fall asleep almost every night manifesting this way and meditating this way and allowing myself to picture and think of weird things like stacks of $100 of bills next to my bed, which is kind of a wild thing to think about. Would you agree? If you would agree that that was like a little bit interesting to sniff dollar bills in your imagination, you could just write the word agree. And if you loved it, you can write I loved it, right? Let me know how you feel. Like I wish I could see you guys right now. I wish that I could see the visceral reaction. But I do visualizations like this almost every day. And I like to take people into like some very wild, kinky places around money and have you do things like sniff $100 bills. Because the thing about this is, we in our everyday life can be so disconnected from this version of us that exists. The version of you that exists across time and space that is the millionaire, the multimillionaire, doing $1 million bills, like having the money to do random acts of kindness, being able to pay off someone else's bills. You know what I'm saying? It's just a very different version of you, but I believe that they exist. I don't know how to explain things about quantum realities, but I kind of want to walk you through how I landed at where I am in my life. And it involved having conversations like this. My mom is here watching live and she said, I smelled a new bill and then an old bill. I do the same thing in my imagination. I have a really old $100 bill that's really soft and velvety, and then I have a crisp new one, and they look and smell totally different. I wonder how many hands the soft one has gone through to get to that soft space. You know how when dollar bills are soft? I love that. So the thing about this is like, I needed conversations like this. I did. I needed these conversations. I needed the conversations we're going to have over the 3 days of this workshop. We're going to meet every night at 8 o'clock to have these conversations. Because the truth is, if you're not a first generation millionaire, if no one in your family was a millionaire before, chances are you've got some reimagining to do around things like debt and finance and your perception of them. Even if there was money in your family, I know a lot of kids of millionaires that their parents didn't educate them about finance, wealth acquisition, the proper use of debt, budgeting. That's a lot of people's money lineage. They come from money, they don't know how to handle it, and they feel like a failure. Then you have people like me that my parents weren't millionaires, my grandparents weren't millionaires, but I had a desire to have a very different life, right? Jesse's watching live. She said, I keep $1 million check in my wallet. When Jesse worked for me in the office, I wrote her $1 million check from our company because we were manifesting. I wrote myself a 1.5er and I wrote her a million because I'm like, we're taking this company to millions. This is when we were making like 300,000. Like, you got to have different conversations. So today's workshop, I want to help reimagine. So if you're live, you can write reimagine your programming around the use of debt. Is that okay? For me, debt was an integral, irreplaceable tool to get our company to $1 million years. If I hadn't used debt, I want to tell you about the version of me that could be happening today. Because you guys just touched and experienced the feeling in your body of the multimillionaire version of you. And then the everyday reality of where you are right now, it can feel so far away from that. But there are two parallel realities that I think you can live both. We all have the option to live either one. Does that make sense? So there was a version of me when I was 22 years old in 2008. Is that right? Yeah. Weird. When I was age 22, that feels a lot like what I'm seeing in the United States today. And I needed the conversations that we're going to have in this workshop so that I could have a fighting chance at becoming the millionaire. So this might be a skosh of like tough love over the next 3 days, but I've got to change your paradigm. Can I have your permission to change your paradigm around debt and about investing, about being resourceful, about vetting investments, about being smart? If I can, will you write down the words, permission to change my paradigm? Permission to change my paradigm. Okay. So let's just go straight with it. It's no secret I sell a mastermind that's $44,000. Ta-da! It's like the big reveal. It's like just flashing everyone on the internet. Here's my offer. It's $44,000. It doesn't scare me to say those numbers whatsoever. In fact, I think it's a really reasonable price. But I'm going to tell you how I landed there. I think there's people out there right now because of today's economics and the fact that groceries are $300 a week. Like, I don't know how people are doing it, but I think there's a lot of people right now who look at the price of a $44,000 mastermind and they say, like, how can you in good conscience take money from people, $44,000 from people that are barely in business and like are putting their groceries on a credit card? And I've sat with this question because as a first generation millionaire, my belief is so astronomical that I'm like, why do I believe this way? And once it clicked for me, I was like, I have to teach people this. I have to change their paradigm. Like, I have to give them a fighting chance to understand how you become a first generation millionaire. How did I become this? And I have to change their paradigm about this. So I'm going to tell you my story as the reframe. If you're live, right? Story time. See, I asked for a lot of engagement because I want to know that your energy is here. As much energy as you want to bring, I want to bring it too. So I just like to check in and make sure y'all are alive and kicking. So if you're here for it, write down story time. And I'm going to plug in my laptop really quick because I forgot to. Here we go. Plug her in. Story time. All right. So I've written this out a little bit in some Instagram posts recently and on my Facebook profile as well. But this the story is like coming in hot for me lately. And here's why. When I was 22, I made about $20,000 to $30,000 a year as a hairstylist. That was my trade. I was not hyper educated. I did not go to college. I should take that back. I had 1 semester in college. I was not hyper educated. And the vibe of my life back then was kind of a lot like what I think Americans are facing today. And that is, I made way too little money. I had 3 jobs. I worked at the Clinique counter. I cut hair and did makeup from my house and at other people's houses. I was like a little traveling hairstylist. That was funny. And I was the manager. Woo-wee! I was the manager at a tanning salon or 2 because once you know the skills, sometimes your boss needs extra help. So I was actually running 2 salons at one time. And I was still only making like 30 grand a year. Less than, more like 25. I was putting my gasoline, my fuel for my car on a credit card in between paychecks. I often put my groceries on a credit card in between paychecks. My mom would meet me at the Sam's Club once or twice a month and buy me bulk vegetables to help me out. I was freaking struggling. Like, I'm so in tune with what I see today at the grocery store, and it's not lost on me that people are struggling. Like, Brad and I go to the grocery store every week today, and we look at the grocery bill and like we look at each other and go like thank God we're okay, and also like how the hell are people doing this? I'm in a mom group on Facebook right now. I'm in a mom group for our local town, and almost every day there's a mom in these spaces that is saying things like, I'm not asking for me, but will you help me with groceries because I have kids? Can anyone spare anything? And other people from the community like rally, but like, dude, this is the reality right now. So the reality that I see today was the reality that I was living as a 22-year-old. And I was looking around going like, this is not going to self-correct for me. I was already maxed out working 3 jobs. Like, this was not going to self-correct. Like, I wasn't going to get a bigger raise at the Clinique counter. I wasn't going to get a bigger raise at the tanning salon. Like, there's only so many haircuts you can do. Is this landing for anyone? Like, there was a cap for me on what was available in my hometown at my current skill set. And I want you to really hear that word that I just said, skill set. At my current skill set, there was a cap. Okay. But I had this feeling inside that I was made for more. And in my free time, I filled out a form, somebody's contact form on their website. There was somebody offering a mentorship where I could increase my skills. And I don't know what wild hair got into me, but I was at my mom's house that weekend. I didn't even own a laptop. Like, I was too broke to have a laptop. So I was at my mom's house on her husband's computer, and I filled out a contact form. And months later, I had forgotten about it. Months later, I got a phone call from basically this like institute that was offering a mentorship where I could go and increase my skill. Write this if you're live. Write these words. Increase my skill. Write it down because I need this to land for you. Increase my skill. I had to. There was an opportunity to increase my skill. And it was going to cost $20,000 to go to the Institute for 4 months. $20,000 for 4 months of training. I didn't have $20,000. I barely maybe had $1,000 in my bank account, at the most $2,000 at the most in my life, like at any given time of year. And that was like during tax season when I felt rich. I was like, I'm balling. I got $2,000. Oh my God. You know, that feeling when you're balling after tax season. That was about the richest I had ever been, right? There's no way that I could have qualified for a loan by myself. It wasn't happening. But I was smart enough to look around the town that I was in. And I don't know what happened to me in life, but I've always learned by basically what I would call cautionary tales. I've always been the person that kind of looked around and was just like, hey, like, is this my future? It's not looking bright. I gotta change something. And when this opportunity came up to potentially go to an institute for $20,000 and increase my skill. I knew that that was my ticket out of my town. I knew that closing that gap in skill, elevating my skill, was the only way that I was going to elevate my pay. I had a dream to travel. I had a dream of having specific types of like dream clients, and I wasn't going to get them with my current level of skill at that time living in Saginaw, Michigan. And I could see the writing on the wall. I could see myself 5 years out. And unlike that lovely little visualization that we just did, where I took you to see the millionaire version of you, like I could see in 5 years out from now, if I don't change something drastically, in 5 years out, I'm going to probably be knocked up by some guy putting groceries on a credit card for 2 or 3. And I could not visualize raising kids in poverty. I couldn't visualize even having kids in poverty. I couldn't visualize myself in 5 years still in that town, bent over a sink washing hair and doing haircuts. I could not picture that for my life. And I knew that elevating my skill was going to be my only ticket out of there. And I could see almost like a parallel universe. I could see 2 versions of me. I could see the version of me who went and got this training, who was able to double and triple my prices, who was able to work in a bigger city, who was able to say, these skill sets are on my resume, who was able to have the confidence to charge more and to travel and to get bigger clients. You see me? I could see this version of me who was successful and happy and traveling and making way more money and not putting gas and groceries on a credit card anymore. I could see that version of me, and it's like I could taste her. The same way that you guys can smell the $100 bill when you do that visualization, I could see another life for myself. And I could see this other parallel universe where I didn't do it at all. And I was like, no, I can't. I can't be stuck here. I cannot stay here. I cannot live on credit cards for the rest of my life. I cannot stay in Saginaw, Michigan. I cannot be bent over a sink scrubbing people's hair in 20 years. Like, for the love of all that's holy, I cannot stay here. And I became more obsessed with becoming this future version of myself and closing the skill gap. Write this down in the comments, right? Closing the skill gap. I became more obsessed with closing the skill gap and becoming this millionaire version of myself. I was more obsessed with that than I was scared of debt. Like, hell, I was already in debt. What's more debt? This is a millionaire move, and I had no idea I was making it at age 22. I was more obsessed with becoming the future version of myself. I was more obsessed with closing that skill gap than I was afraid of debt. I was more afraid of my future if I didn't move than I was afraid of debt. What if you're already in debt? It's just like, fuck it, what's more debt? I need to go close that skill gap and I need to get more money. I can't be doing groceries on a credit card anymore in my life. Like, I have to close the skill gap. So here's what I did. At age 22, here's what I actually did. I did some fast math, and I thought about, okay, if I'm going to go close this skill gap, I want to be entirely devoted to my process. I want to be able to go to this institute and learn. I want to account for my cost of living because I don't want to have to go hustle for a job while I'm living in LA learning these skills. By the way, back then they didn't have digital training. You had to go across the country to learn this stuff. There was no mastermind on Zoom. Like, there was none of that. You had to go across the country, move across the country to go learn. So I calculated my cost of living into my loan I was about to take out. I thought to myself, okay, if I'm going to go live in California for 4 months, I'm probably going to need 10 grand to do it so that I can be entirely focused on elevating my skill set. Because every moment, I want you to hear this, every moment that you're dedicated to your survival, you are not dedicated to your growth. I'm going to say this again because it's going to reprogram the way that you think about debt. Every moment that you are dedicated to your survival, you are not dedicated to your growth, your business growth, your mind growth. Survival and growth are two completely different energies. And as a 22-year-old, I had this understanding that if I had to toggle between work and a job and learning, I wasn't going to get the most out of the learning. And I wanted to learn. I wanted to elevate that skill set. So instead of saying I need $20,000 so that I can elevate this skill set, I actually told myself I need 30. I need to find a way to get $30,000 as a 22-year-old so that I can elevate my skill set in this program and I can account for my cost of living so that I can relax, that my nervous system can, and I can be 100% in the training. I looked for the hidden costs. I asked myself, okay, how much is it going to cost me to travel to California, number one? Like, how much is my food going to cost when I'm over there? What is rent if I split it with, I had 2 roommates. What if I split an apartment with other people that are in my program? Are there unseen costs of school supplies that I'm going to need? Yes, there was. There was more things that I needed for the course that weren't listed and they didn't come with the course. So I didn't just account for like, oh, this is a $20,000 program. I just need 20 grand. I thought to myself, no, if I'm going to let my nervous system chill here and be all in and be able to grow, I actually need to be more abundant and I'm going to use someone else's money to do it. Where is my freaking microphone? Tina Kane bought me a microphone and I need to mic drop that right there. Like, where's my microphone? If you're going to go all in on changing your life and getting a skill set, you might as well go all in on making yourself abundant and resourced and not in survival mode while you're doing it. And you might as well use someone else's money to create that feeling. This is the $1 million investor money mindset on personal growth. Are you guys tracking with me? I wasn't looking for 20 grand to go to a course and then gonna stress myself out trying to figure out my cost of living and like, oh my God, how am I gonna do this? I gotta hustle and get another job and I'm gonna be panicked for the whole course. No. I set my sights on getting $30,000, not 20. Now, this is fascinating. To close that skill gap and double my income over the next couple of years, that opportunity was going to cost me 30 grand. I could see the payoff. I knew it was worth it. And I want to talk to you about that number 30 grand because I looked it up. Someone write equivalent. Equivalent. I Googled the value of $30,000 in today's economy. And you know what number came up? $42,392. That's the equivalent today. As a 22-year-old, I was making myself responsible for a $42,000 loan to take a 4-month course. Can you feel the gravity of that? "22 years old, do or die. There's a skill gap. I'm capped at what I can earn. I've got 3 jobs. I'm putting groceries and gas on a credit card. I've got an opportunity to get out of this. I've got an opportunity to double my money within a year or two and do that for the rest of my life. This is what people don't see about closing a skill gap. You might pay $40,000, $50,000 to learn a skill, but if you can double your income in a year or 2 years, you not only get that money back, but you can do that for the rest of your life. So I started making $20,000 a year. Within 2 years, I was making $60,000 a year. So I tripled my income and I stayed at that level. That's a jump. You pay to learn the skill once, but you get the benefits for the rest of your life. Are you guys tracking with this? I could see it as a 22-year-old. I was like, I gotta get this skill. I need to go take this training. It's gonna give me the confidence and the what do you call it? Like the resume to be able to go charge more. This is my ticket. I gotta go do this. It made total sense to me. As a 22-year-old, I put myself on the line. And I didn't just ask for the bare minimum. I asked for enough money with debt, with other people's money, to feel abundant while I was learning. Like, take notes of this. If there's any of you guys who are going to be joining a program, joining a mastermind, going to learn a new skill, I want you for the rest of your life, even if it's not with me, I want you to think about, if you're going to go take a class, a course, and learn a skill, like, don't just take out enough money for you to take the class. Like, request enough money so that your life can feel abundant while you're taking the class and you're not panicking about money. So I'm 22 years old, and instead of asking for 20, I said, give me 30. Give me cost of living on top of the course so that I can ground, so that I can be abundant, so that I can be fully in this training and get the most out of it. I want a gold mine out of this. I want to harvest out of it. I want to be all in. So give me 30. And this is $42,000 in today's equivalency is what I was asking for. And this is like the clincher. Nobody was going to give me that money at age 22 with limited credit history and credit cards, making $20,000 a year. Wasn't nobody going to give me that money. Come on. If you're live right now, write ask in all caps, all capital letters. This was where my divine resourcefulness dropped in as a 22-year-old. This is first generation millionaire stuff that started when I was in my early 20s. I knew it was do or die. I knew who I was going to be in 5 years if I didn't change my skill set. I could see the writing on the wall. And I could also see this other version of me who went and did it. And I was like, all right, I have to make this happen. So I took out a pad of paper and I wrote down the names of every single person that I thought had money and cared about me. Humbling resourcefulness. I went and asked. I asked my mom. I asked my dad. I asked my mom's ex-husband. I'm pretty sure I asked her boss, which is really fucking weird to think about. I'm pretty sure I asked my mom's old boss. I asked my uncle. I asked family friends. I asked anybody who I thought would co-sign a loan for me. I wasn't asking somebody to pay my way. I was just asking for a co-signer. I asked more people than I care to think about. I got my feelers hurt. I got rejected. I got told no. I got told, I wish I could help you, but I can't. with like pain in their face. Like you could see the humiliation in their face because they wanted to help me and they felt humiliated that they couldn't help, which is such a legacy driver for me because I want to be the person in the next decade of my life that if someone comes to me and says, "Will you co-sign for me? Will you help me? Do you have seed money for a company? Will you angel invest?" I want to be able to say, "Yes." I saw the humiliation in people's faces when I would ask, "Can you please help me?" And they said, "I wish I could, but I can't. I don't have it." And that's when I realized how broke the people around me were. And it scared me. It made me more determined to get out of that situation. It made me determined to not be 40, 50, 60 years old and not have money to help someone. Do you understand the gravity of that? Watching grown people who love you have to say, "I don't even have credit. I'm already co-signed on. I have so much debt right now. I wish I could help you. I'm not allowed to co-sign on anything else. I have too much debt." Like to hear that from grown adults that I loved and respected and thought that they were rolling in the money, that was an eye opener at that age. Holy crap. But I kept asking. I try to think of anybody who could co-sign for me, who might have credit available, who could co-sign alone. And I finally got a maybe. After hearing no that many times, you better believe I walked into that meeting prepared. And this is what I see a lot of would-be potential clients of mine not doing. So take radical notes here. If you're going to ask for a business loan, a co-signer, or the buy-in of a romantic partner who has to approve of the money that you want to spend to elevate your skill set, to join a mastermind, to join a course, etc., you need to walk in like it's a business meeting. Because I have seen that people who want to work with me and want to join my masterminds, they go to try to talk to their romantic partner and they kind of get laughed out of the room. Because you can tell by the way that they approached this conversation that they weren't that serious about it. It wasn't a business to them. It was like, "Oh, I hope I can make this work out. Can you give me your pension and I'll go do an experiment, sir?" And I wouldn't sign up for that either. So watch me. With all the love and the respect in the world, just watch me. Okay. I walked into that maybe with business plan components. I went and I sat at a kitchen table with someone that did have the means to co-sign for me, not pay for me, but to co-sign for me. And I walked in with a vision. I brought in all the details about the program. I had them printed out. I had all the components of what I was going to learn and the skills I was about to develop. I was dead serious about it. I also came in with a proposal for my cost of living. I showed what money was going to get allocated to things like travel to get out to my course, rent split with 2 roommates, unforeseen costs of supplies that I could estimate, things like gas and groceries and parking permits, etc. I walked in with that program, with cost of living documented for so that I could relax into the program and watch close. I walked in with the credentials of the teacher. I came in with success stories. Write this down. Credentials of the teacher. We're going to talk tomorrow about vetting investments, and this is one of the big ones. I walked in with the credentials of the teachers. I came in and I said, the people who are doing these trainings, this is what they've done in the industry. Here's their resume. Credentials of the teachers. Secondarily, I walked in with success stories. I brought in testimonials. I brought in the success stories of other people who had gone through this specific training and what they were doing today and how much they were able to charge. If you're live, hashtag the word get nosy. If you're going to teach a course, or if you're going to take a course and elevate your skill set and close a skill gap, you got to know what possibilities are on the other side. And sometimes that takes getting nosy, asking people that have done the program, like, what are you making now? So I walked into this meeting with success stories, the credentials of the teacher, and the third thing that I walked in with sealed my vision for me. I walked in with proposed jobs that I was going to get once I closed this skill gap. And I presented, hey, if I learn this stuff and I have these skills on my resume and I can say that I've trained with these people and these are the skills that I bring to the table, I can now qualify for this job, this job, this job, this job, this job, this job. And it was double my current income. I treated that meeting like it was a business meeting. It happened to be with my grandpa, my dad's dad, my grandpa Haas. And he sat at the table with me and he looked at all of it and he approved of all the things that I had brought to the table. He said, "You really think you can do this?" "Yes, I do." He said, "Okay, here's the deal. I will co-sign on this loan for you. And if you miss one payment, I'm coming to your driveway with a tow truck and I'm taking your car. You miss a payment, I own your car." Feel the gravity of that. 22 years old. In today's dollars, $42,000. I was signing as I'm responsible now. And the handshake deal was, you miss one payment, I'm coming for your car. I own it. I said, deal. My mom was watching live. She said he would have done it too. Yeah. I get a lot of my genes from that side of the family. He was a hardtail. He would have come and done it. He would have taken my car. I have a big heart for helping people win. I have a massive heart for changing people's financial legacies and helping people to get the skill sets to close skill gaps, to double, triple, and quadruple incomes, which is what happens in my mastermind. And lovingly, I have to say, Americans are soft. And not in like the soft, intimate way, like of like, oh, that's so sweet and soft. Like, people are soft. I had more balls at 22 than a lot of the 50-year-olds that I know right now. They won't go ask for a cosigner. They won't ask repeatedly. They wouldn't put their car on the line. They don't believe in themselves enough to make a $46,000 investment and bet on themselves. They don't believe that they can be responsible for money. And in the words of one of my phenomenal peers in this industry, Victoria Washington, with more money comes more responsibility. With more money comes more sensation in the body. With more money comes more responsibility. You're not going to make more money without being more responsible. So I love you enough to tell you, if you're going to be a first generation millionaire, you have to be able to say yes to more responsibility. Stop being soft about it. Is it landing? At age 22, I had the balls to say, yep, deal. the terms on my financing, I fixed to be something that I could pay off. I think it was over 60 months, like 60, kind of like a car payment. I said yes to that at 22. I meet 50-year-olds who are putting gasoline and groceries on a credit card because they can't afford them and they just think it's going to somehow get better, or that like the government is going to come save them, or inflation is going to stop. And I love you enough to be like, has it stopped yet? This doesn't self-correct. You, as a first generation millionaire, you close the skill gap, you raise your value in the marketplace, and that's how you raise your pricing in the marketplace to be able to withstand any economic shift. Is this landing, y'all? I don't know, I was making $1 million move back then, but I was making $1 million move. And I walked in there with the business plan components so that I would get a yes. And the bigger thing about this meeting was that it gave me this bigger vision, because I'm going to tell you something about investing, and I'm going to go deep on this probably in tomorrow. But the first thing that I want to say about investing is that you've got to have a long-term like end game for this. Investing isn't to play with money. You don't, I feel like coaching, like the coaching industry is kind of like for sport lately. In the last 3 years, I just see people getting coached for sport. I'm like, what did you go in there for? Like, what was the ROI? What was the return on investment that you were going after when you went and gave that person your $10,000? And then like what was the vision? Question mark. Because I meet a lot of people who would love to work with me, and they're saying like, I spent $10,000 with this other coach and I didn't get jack squat for it. And like, respectfully, I'm going to ask you to have this business meeting with yourself in your head and ask yourself, okay, what all is in this program? Can I see? Okay, what's in the program? Number one, do I have the ability to like give myself financial peace to be in this program? Like, can I have someone else's money while I take this program in peace? 3, what are the credentials of the person teaching the class? 4, what are their other clients up to? Like, do they have success stories? 5, what am I going to qualify to be able to do in terms of like the bigger picture of my life if I take this course? What's the game plan? What position am I after? What station am I now available for in life if I take this course? And I don't think people ask this question before they vet an investment. They just kind of go like, I think this person makes $1 million, so I'm just going to take their class and then I'll be a millionaire. And then like months later and hundreds of thousands, I shouldn't say hundreds of thousands, like even $4, $5, $6, $10,000 later, they're like, I don't know what happened. And I'm like, what did you walk in wanting? What was your plan for this ROI? This is an investment. This isn't like paper copy money. You know the money guns that you buy on Amazon and they have copy money inside and you're just blowing money everywhere? Like, it's not fake money. This is real life. What did you go in there to learn? Who did you want to be on the other side of the investment, y'all? Like, be smart. Be smart. So having to have this meeting with my grandpa, I walked in there going like, damn, like at the end of these 4 months, I'm going to be the person that can make $1,000 a day. I'm going to do it. And I did it. But I had the vision for it. I walked in with intentionality. So if you're live, right, intentionality. That's one of your lessons for today, is intentionality around the investment. If you got anything from today, one thing that I want you to hear is when you take out and you use someone else's money, if you take out debt to invest in yourself, to multiply the money over the next 5, 10, 20 years of your life, when you do that, one thing that I want you to think about is, do you have the spaciousness in your life? Have you taken enough of a loan out to fund your lifestyle while you do this course? because I don't want to be stressing about money while I'm trying to learn. That's the one thing that I want you to take out. The second thing is see the end from the beginning and be so flippin' intentional. If you're going to spend 10, 20, 50, $100,000 on learning a skill, what's the ROI? What's the intentionality? What's the game plan at the end, babe? Where are you going after you get this skill? What's next? Are you feeling this? There's billions of dollars spent in the coaching industry every year now. And there's still a tiny percent of people who become millionaires. And this is the difference. They walk in going, what's the program? What's included? What's the credentials of the teacher? Show me some success stories. What's available to me after I get these skills? Because I'm not here to just hang out in people's energy. I'm here to grow skills. Yes. What's the return on the investment? What's next after I get the skill? Where are we going? How are we getting this money back? So for me, I was like, I don't have any option but to succeed because I got to pay my loan off. Otherwise, I lose my car. And I think for a lot of people, they don't have that self-responsibility. They're just like, oh, I have student loans now. And there's like no plan for what's next. And I was like, I'm going to crush this debt. Otherwise, I lose my car. And also, like, I didn't go to school to play around. I went to school so that I could triple my income. And that's what I did. So there was an intentionality behind it, deep seated. Okay. So what was the outcome? The outcome of taking this tremendous risk, 40 something thousand dollars in today's money as a 22-year-old, here's the outcome. I went through the program. I graduated second in my class. I got the skill sets. I put them on my resume. I started pitching myself to different places in my early 20s. I tripled my income inside of 3 years. And this gave me the courage to do it again. And as a first generation millionaire, this is what I do. Every time that I want to make more money, I look for gaps in my skill. Write that down. Whenever I want to make more money, I look for gaps in my skill. If I can see that there's people making way more money than me in my industry, I ask myself, are they a better copywriter? Maybe I ought to go hang out with them and pay them to teach me better ways. Do I not have a proper understanding of internet marketing, reels creation, selling in stories, content batching? Am I driving myself crazy and not getting the results that I want? What do I not know? So whenever I want to make more money, I look for gaps in my skill and I go pay to close the gap. And I have no shame about using other people's money to do it. I'm going to tell you a story about this every day. And I wanted to start with that one because it's the most extreme example. Unable to afford gas and groceries, could barely make rent. And I found a co-signer to do the thing that I needed to do to close my skill gap and double my money. I put my car on the line. I put everything on the line. And I gave myself really no option, but like, yeah, we're going to go succeed. No one else is going to help us. And that was kind of thrilling as a 22-year-old. It was tough, but it was thrilling to know that there were people back in my hometown that were never going to get out. And that was sad for them. But I took a chance on me. And really, when you take a chance on you, the world is your oyster. When I think about what might have been, because I know, I talk about my $44,000 mastermind and I talk about these $22,000 offers, et cetera, et cetera. And I know it sounds like a lot of money. But when I think back to that version of me who couldn't afford gas and groceries, and I ask myself, what might have been if I didn't leverage debt? It wasn't Stupid consumer debt. I'm not talking about using debt for buying champagne and sneakers and, stupid shit. Pardon my language. I'm talking about leveraging other people's money to increase your skill and buy peace of mind while you do it so it feels abundant in the process, not feels like pressure. If I hadn't done that at that age, I just quick show of hands. Have I changed any of your lives with a 1-degree shift in the whole time that you've known me? 1-degree shift, have I changed any of your lives? Have I changed the way that you think, how you treat your body, what you believe is possible for you? Have I elevated your skill? Have I helped you with your social media? Have I helped you with your branding? Have I helped you see a bigger vision? Have I helped you with your emotional intelligence? Just raise of hands. If I have helped you with a 1-degree shift in your life, raise your hand. Because if I had not leveraged someone else's money as a 22-year-old and utilized debt to change my life, I don't think very many of you would even know my name. I would more than likely still be a jaded, bitter hairdresser, a 38-year-old standing behind a hairstyling chair in Michigan, unhappy about it, because I wasn't happy about it. There's people who are happy about it. I was not happy about it. I loved my craft and I could see the writing on the wall. I could see the people that were 10 years older than me who were working in those salons, who were, their backs hurt, their hips hurt, their feet hurt, and they did not look happy. And I was like, I can't do that. This is not for me. This is not the long haul for me, baby. Not for $20,000 a year, not for $30,000 a year. I have to get the fuck out of here. Again, pardon my language, but that was my reality. If I hadn't taken a chance on me and gotten the support that I needed and closed the skill gap, you guys wouldn't even know my name. I'd be a hairdresser in Michigan. There's always multiple realities that you can live. And you get to decide whether you want to be resourceful, close skill gaps, be of higher service to people, elevate your pay, double your income. I knew that that skill developed in me was my ticket out of that town. It was my obvious next move. It was the one way that I was going to be able to make the kind of money that I wanted to make. It was in alignment for me, and I could do it in a short amount of time. It wasn't going to cost me an 8-year term in college. It was going to cost me months. And because of the way that that changed my life, that's why I do what I do in the online space and with my clients. So each day of this workshop, we're going to have something like this. Guided visualizations. I'm going to walk you through things to change your paradigm, because I hope that when you leave out from today, you think about leveraging other people's money differently. I hope that you can see that if you're someone who's struggling financially, you can use, borrow, take someone else's cosign, their money, their lending, and change your life forever. And there's no shame in using debt that way. In fact, I've used $500,000. Write this down. I have personally leveraged $500,000 of other people's money to expand my business, my mindset, and my skill set over the last decade. $500,000. Can you write this in the chat? $500,000. Don't be afraid of debt. Not this kind. See it differently today. The millionaire mindset is less afraid of business debt than being in the same spot in 5 years. Being in the same spot in 5 years is so much more scarier than $40,000 in debt any day. Can you agree with that? being in the same financial duress that you might be feeling in right now, or even if it's not duress, just constriction, wishing you could do nice things for other people and being like, damn, I can't afford it this month. Would you rather be in the same spot or worse in 5 years, or would you rather close a skill gap and be able to be so abundant in the next 5 years? I'll take close the skill gap for 40 grand any day, Alex. You see me? So this brings me, all of this today brings me to offer number one inside of our 3 days together. So every day you're going to hear me talk about a different offer and a different way to close skill gaps in my world. So when I was talking about if you're going to invest in something, you want to vet the investment. We're going to talk deeper about that tomorrow. But something that you want to know before you hand over your hard-earned cash to close a skill gap is you want to know what's inside the program. You want to understand the credentials of the teacher. You want to be able to see success stories of other people who have done it, and you want to understand what's on the other side of getting these skills. And unfortunately, right now, I think it's correcting a little bit, but we are part of a coaching and self-development industry where a lot of things are very vague. There's a lot of big promises. There's a lot of overpromise and underdeliver. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of stuff behind curtains. And because of that, I love to give people opportunities to come in, experience our world. So if you're live right now, write offer number one. This one is phenomenal. We personally, at the XMH Empire, we have a content vault that's worth like multi 5 figures. It's content that has been sold on its own for probably 30 to 50,000 of dollars, and it's all inside of a vault. Offer number one for you is wild. This is for the person who's been thinking about joining Locked and Loaded. You've been thinking about doing a course with me. You've been thinking about a mastermind, and you want to come in and come behind the curtain and experience it for real so that you can make an informed decision. Offer number one is called the Day Pass. Write this down, Day Pass, DAYPASS. It's like, we named it after like the day pass to a spa, because you get to come in, you get to experience it all and find out if this is the spot for you forevermore. This Saturday, I'm running the Day Pass. It's $444. If you're live, write down that price, $444. The Day Pass is going to give you 24 continuous hours of access for you to experience our content vault that is worth multi 5 figures. You'll also have Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m., where I'll be in a chat on my favorite app where I mastermind with our clients every week. And you'll have access to mastermind. Ask the questions about your business, your brand, self-development, the ideas that you're kind of spitballing out there, and any questions that you have about continuing on in our mastermind. The Day Pass, the option is open now. I'm capping this at 20 people because I want to make sure that within the mastermind hours on Saturday from 10 to 5, that I have time to personally interact with every person who wants to be part of it. So it's $444. We're capping it at 20 people. The cart is open for it now. The bonus of doing the Day Pass is, should you discover while you're inside the Day Pass that there is a course that you want to continue in, perhaps you'd like to do another offer with us that I'm going to talk about in the next couple of days, like the vault or possibly the mastermind, you get to designate that $444 to anything else that you want to stay in with us after the Day Pass is done. So offer number one happens this weekend on Saturday. It's called the Day Pass. It will give you a 24-hour continuous access to enjoy the vault. You'll also get a mastermind day with me to find out, is your business idea right? Is there things that you want to like mastermind about? And is our spot the spot for you? So cart's open now. That's offer number one. And we're right inside of 90 minutes for day number one of this experience. If I could say, oh, and Tanya's watching live. She's done a day pass. She said it was such a phenomenal experience to mastermind. She's done it. We've had dozens of people go through this over the summer, and a lot of our mastermind members came from there. So that's our first offer. What's coming up? Tomorrow, I'm going to talk deeper about investing, because today we talked about investing in yourself. That's a big one. But I'm going to talk about vetting investments and other types of investments that, as a first generation millionaire, you might want to consider just your money mindset, your budgeting, where and how you want to invest. And I'm going to bring you both the mindset and the strategy of thinking and acting like a seven-figure individual, a first generation millionaire. So that's what's coming up tomorrow. I'll see you back here live at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. And I cannot wait to see who these 20 people are who snatch up the day pass. If you'd like the link for it, you can message me, or my team will put it right underneath this video. Thanks, guys.